First question, what music's on my playlist right now? Well, I've got a couple of different playlists for gym, for relaxing, some upbeat stuff for working. I've also got a general playlist which has things like Linkin Park, Stick Figure, Coldplay, Bastille, Lumineers, so a little bit of everything. But yeah, pretty much just depending on the mood I am in and what I'm doing will determine which playlist I listen to. This is a difficult one. I've got a number of them. I think as a kid I used to watch Jock of the Bushveld a lot. Obviously loving the bush and having a passion for nature. I've probably watched it over 100 times. I used to watch it when I was sick from school. And just to clarify, there's actually 3 movies. One's an animation, which it's definitely not that one. And then there was 2 movies made of Jock of the Bushveld, but it's the very, very first one that I love. I also really love a movie called Shooter, which has Mark Wahlberg in, and then another favorite of mine is Ghost in the Darkness. There's quite a few series that I do watch, but ones that I watch over and over again is How I Met Your Mother and also Big Bang Theory. Well, there's quite a few. I don't really post much on TikTok, but I really enjoy the content on it. It's very positive. I am mainly using Instagram at the moment, and I know it can feel a bit flat at times, but I also think it depends on who you follow. So especially during lockdown now, I'm following quite a few motivational pages which just share motivational videos as well as motivational quotes for the day, which I generally go through in the morning when I first wake up, and it just gives me that little bit more oomph for the day ahead. My pet peeve. There's quite a few, and I don't know if this one is one, but it's the first thing that comes to mind is someone touching my food. If you ask anyone in the office or my family, they will tell you it is touching my food. I absolutely hate it, and if you touch my food, I will stab you with my fork. Obviously, what goes through my mind is a whole bunch of things: being able to fly, having super strength. But I think a really cool one to have would be being able to transport myself anywhere in the world at any given time at the click of my fingers. So, for example, Masai Mara, I'm there. New Zealand, fishing on the rivers in New Zealand, I'm there. Orlando, Florida, I'm there. So something along those lines I think would be pretty cool. Obviously I think that comes from us traveling so much, and obviously having a lot of flights and things. I think that is a lot easier than going through customs, security control, and then waiting for flights and then flying for hours on end to a destination. Although I haven't visited New Zealand, I think I would love to live in New Zealand, out in the middle of nowhere, in a log cabin, being able to go and fly fish every day, and just spend time in the outdoors hiking. So yeah, if money was no object, I think I would live in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand. I can't actually think of one, but this is one that I found and I think suits me well. Check it out. Wow. This actually, I think this will open, by answering this, it's going to open a lot more questions for people than it will actually answer the question. I think there's a few things. I'd have to think about it. One of the first things that comes to mind, $5 million is a lot of money, and you could do a lot with it. But if I had to give an answer, it would maybe be swimming across the Mara River with all the crocodiles. But having said that, I'm not going to answer that question completely, because like I said, then it's going to open a whole another box of questions of what I would do. Also a tough one. I think there's a lot of stuff that we have taken for granted and that you only really realize now in lockdown, of simple things that you miss. Obviously for us, travel's a big one. Being out in the outdoors and with nature is a big one. Simple things like going out to eat is a big one, sitting at a restaurant. So I think the first thing that I would want to do is to maybe plan a weekend away, either fishing or a weekend to the bush, just to get out of the city a bit. Obviously, for majority of my life I lived in a small town and then in the bush for a long time. So I think it would be to organize a weekend away outside of the city, and just break away from obviously all the hustle and bustle, and just find a bit of peace and normality in my case, somewhere out in the outdoors for a weekend.